here. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, the happiest place on earth. Would you like a program?
Welcome to the center. Welcome home.
For the first time in all of my
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Comfortable for you, just lower, close your eyes. As we simply anchor ourselves in that awareness of the divine, that one infinite loving presence that we know as God, as Spirit, recognizing that perfect love, perfect joy, perfect peace, perfect tranquility at the very center of this center. That the Las Vegas Center for Spiritual Living is the epicenter of that love. It radiates out into its community joy, peace, and understanding, wisdom, clarity. And as we let go of 2018 and all the joys and treasures that it brought upon us, we usher in and welcome 2019 and this very day. In today's talk about happiness, simply focus on that. Who am I, and how do I show up? And so as I sit here and affirm and know that what shows up is love, and only love. There's only space, joy, peace, and not just words. But this center is about feeling. It is about emotion. It is about that spiritual muscle that we work out every Sunday here and throughout the weeks in classes and fellowship. And so it's in this space I give thanks for all that it takes to make this service possible. The music, the photography, the sound, our practitioners, our wonderful ministers, and each and every one of you that have come here today. It is that oneness that we celebrate every Sunday. And so full, with a heart filled full of gratitude and joy, simply release these words into the law, that even knowing now that they are fulfilling themselves fully right here and right now in each and every one. And in this space, I simply let go and I let God and I let it be. And together we say, and so it is.
You know, it's so great to be here. Unfortunately, it's because Patty is sick. And so let's all send her lots of healing love right now as we sing All the Good We Can Do. This is a Janice Danfield song. And we'll announce these guys after this. Stand as you can. From London, here we go. I can do all the good that the world needs, and the world needs all the good. Yes, I can do. and introduce the band, yes. Boris Shapiro on drums. Steve on bass. And of course, our very own one and only Dave Marinelli. And Rochelle
Oh, while we're all standing, if you would please say with me, God bless America and the rest of the world. If you turn to a neighbor and say good morning, happy last Sunday of the year. Here along with Reverend Dan, wherever he is, and Reverend Stacy Hilton. There he is. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. Oh, you know, we have a wonderful little video about Kwanzaa that started on the 26th. Thank you.
Today we're going to probably get quiet and listen to what we want to accomplish in 2019. And here's a Janice Stanfield song that might help us get there.
1, 2, 1, 2.
your true calling, calling you. Your true calling, calling you. Your true calling, calling you.
Well, good morning. Wow, how cool is it to have a live band? It's pretty amazing. So happy New Year. The last few hours of 2018. Pretty amazing. Been an interesting year. I'm choosing for it to be less interesting in 2019. You know, the title of our talk today is The Components of Happiness. And I looked back on my own life, and in my younger years, as I began to observe life, I began to think to myself, there has got to be more than what I'm seeing in life. There's got to be more than eating, sleeping, working, and then dying. And what I found is I saw eating, sleeping, working, and there were just these moments of little flickers, little sprinkles of happiness. And, you know, I couldn't believe that as I looked around and I looked at this amazing planet, the beauty in this planet, and what we were learning about the universe and its vastness, and the millions and the billions of stars and planets. I couldn't believe as I looked at life itself, the being alive and conscious and thinking. And I just thought to myself, how is it that all of this that's so extraordinary, we've made it so unextraordinary? How come it always looks so lifeless, so ordinary? And of course, being raised Catholic, and you know, we were taught that that's just the way life is. It's about toil. It's about struggle. It's about trial. And as I would lay in the pews as a small child and look at the statues and the painting, it's funny to listen to you laugh because you and I know what we're talking about. And everything, all the pictures, everything was so misery-ridden. But here was the golden light. See, if you suffered and toiled and trialed real good, then you got to go to a place called heaven after you left here, and then you would get to have some happiness. And listen, I don't, as I say some of these things, as all of you know, I mean, I came out of the womb. I mean, I shot right out, and the first thing I did was say a Hail Mary. So, you know, I was raised, I love my Catholic faith, I go to the Catholic Church a lot, so I'm not dogging it, I just was looking at my life and how that all looked. So, but as I observed all of that, two things that I realized: that my soul was yearning, and my soul knew, even when I was young, that life could be bigger, that great things were possible. And I knew that life could be exciting, it could be invigorating, it could be fulfilling, and happiness could be here and now. I knew that even when I was young. So I determined at a very young age to discover what the components of happiness were. And I delved deep into my religion, and for many, many years, 30-some years of my life. And it was good. I loved that part of my faith. But I didn't completely feel fulfilled. And so then I switched. because I'm Dan Giroux, and there's no gray. So we went from black to white overnight. And I started to move into what they call the party life. Okay, and I looked everywhere and tried everything to find out what happiness looked like and felt like. And it's kind of funny. I was thinking about it yesterday. You know, I'm running after happiness, and yet I couldn't tell you what happiness looked like. I couldn't define it or describe it. I don't know how you run around looking for something when you don't even know what you're looking for. But that's kind of what we do when we party. And then usually, especially if you live in Las Vegas, you find out that Lady Las Vegas, she will eat you up and spit you out. You cannot out-party Miss Vegas. And so at the end of it, kind of crashed, kind of burned, and feeling very unfulfilled. And something wondrous happened. I found this place. And as a reminder to anyone who's feeling a little bit on the low side, the universe is always there. God is always there. And I don't care how deep and dark that hole looks, the universe is there and is going to find for you what you need. I am absolutely convinced that the universe never abandons us. But anyway, so I'm running around looking for happiness, trying all this, crashing and burning, blah, blah, blah. And I found this place. And I found a video that I thought looked exactly what my life looked like and how it ended up. Russell? And so, when I finally crashed and burned, there was the big elephant, Reverend Cynthia, who scooped me up with her big trunk and said, I'm going to put you in an 8-week class. The longest 8 weeks of my life. But when I came here, I finally, after all those years, I finally heard what my soul was yearning to hear. I read and heard of this man called Dr. Ernest Holmes. And he said this: people are born to be happy, live creatively, to love to sing, to dance, and to express themselves to the fullest. Yes. And I want to remind Reverend Stacy that Dr. Holmes himself said that I should be singing, to love to sing. Your response says it all. And then I read Dr. Holmes said this: we are born to be happy, to be abundantly supplied with every good thing, to have fun in living, to consciously unite with the divine power that is around us and within us, and to grow and expand forever. I found it. This place, my home. And it was here that I started to truly understand what the components of happiness are. And the very first component goes something like this. See if this rings a bell. There is a power for good in the universe, greater than you are, and you can use it. And what I learned in 8 weeks, times 10 years, that it's our thoughts, it's our thinking that are used by this power greater than we are to create everything that we experience in our lives. It's the very first component, the cornerstone of our teaching. Change your thinking. Change your thinking, change your life. I had never felt, in all that I ever experienced and did, never did I feel that free, that liberated. Never did I experience that life could be so grand, so infinite, so filled with possibilities. And for the first time in my life, I was happy. But there was another component that I needed to learn along the way. See, and we would, first class I ever took, wouldn't you know, those two were in it with me. And we did all this together. I manifested pretty good. Yeah. I mean, Reverend Cynthia may have had one or two things to do with that. But so I would complain, I'm doing all the work. I read every book. I did all the homework. I wrote the affirmations. I wrote the treatments. But the universe just wouldn't cooperate. I either wasn't manifesting fast enough or not manifesting at all. And so I'm like, what the heck? Maybe this stuff doesn't work. Maybe this was a lie. And then the component was taught to me, and it was this. Rev Dan, well, Dan at the time, your hands, the arms of your life are so full of all the old stuff, of all the past. There is no room to put anything new in the arms of your life. And so that work began. God would say, you know what? Your mind is so full of your old negative thinking, those patterns. Your mind is so full of your old story. There's no room for new thoughts, new ways of thinking. Reverend Dan, you gotta let go. You gotta release. You gotta empty the container. If I'm able to pour anything new in it. Rev Dan, your life is so full of some of those old habits, those destructive actions. Things like drugs, alcohol, sex, overspending, indebtedness, no balance, all work, no play, all play, no work. Not taking care of yourself. I don't know anything about those things. Those were just something that I read in a book that I felt like I should share with you. But what the universe was saying is, Dan, your life is so full of these destructive things. You are so out of alignment. You're so out of vibration with what is good. That good cannot come into your life. Gotta let it go. Gotta release. Gotta empty the container if something new is to come into your experience. Wow. Now we get into the old spiritual F word. Because then there was that point in time when I learned that my life was so full of people from the past. All the wrong things my parents did. Darn them anyway. People that hurt me, people that let me down, broken relationships, so angry and so bitter. See, Rev Dan, you wanted new people in your life, but it was so full of the old people. I remember one time having an argument with a person in my mind that I hadn't seen for 10 years. You want new people? You want new kinds of relationships? Do you want prosperity in your life? You gotta forgive. See, when you forgive them, you forgive you, and now you are free. You know, when you let those people go, you let you go. You let new life and people and experiences into your own life. Those were just two of the components that I have learned along the way that are the components of happiness. Learn to think, learn to let go. And I know that Reverend Cheryl would like to expand on that a little bit. I'm hoping so.
All right. You know, we're really going to expand on the mechanics of today, the last Sunday of 2018. You know, like Reverend Dan talking about forgiveness, you know, they say, it's said that, you know, when you're unwilling to forgive, it's like taking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Because you're only hurting yourself, right? So, that's a reason to just stop it, just stop it. Okay, I'm gonna let you know what's going on today. Everyone should have received a small piece of paper and a pen. If you did not, if you'd raise your hand, one of the ushers will make sure you have that. It's not in your program, they would have handed it to you. And while they're doing that, I gave you 100 sheets. No, there's plenty of pens. Clem will get them. While they're doing that, did you all make New Year's resolutions? You know, I think most people, I don't know, I stopped doing that years ago, but some of you, I'm thinking, might still do that, no? Yeah. Exactly, exactly. So even if you don't get into that formally, you know, you have a sense of that the year is ending and you want to start something new, a new beginning. It's like you get another chance to begin again. Well, this is it, okay? This is the year. I'm telling you, you know. And Reverend Stacy's having a conscious, what is it, creating conscious creation tomorrow morning and on Saturday morning. What I want us to do is support one another in this process of newness. So with that little piece of paper, you're going to write down what you're willing to release. So maybe let's take a deep breath and close our eyes. See, we have a lot to let go of, maybe, some of us. You know, some of that old stuff before we can accept the new stuff. And you probably know what some of that is for you. Do you have ideas about yourself and about life that are limiting? That's certainly something to write down. Have you thought that about things that you cannot do? That you don't have what it takes? Oh my goodness, that you're too old? Too young? Not educated enough? You know, whatever those two T-O-O things are. And something to write down on your paper. That you're too big, you're too little, you're the wrong sex, you have the wrong color hair, the wrong color eyes, the wrong color skin. Whatever your beliefs that you brought into this morning that do not support your growth and your unfoldment as a spiritual being on this plane. Whatever that thought is, that's something to write down. You can use the back. If we have extra, you might want to get another piece of paper. God knows the truth about you. That you're made in her image and likeness. And that Spirit did not make a mistake when it created you. So those limiting ideas that have no validity, it's time to let them go. Right? I would like to ask our stirrers, please come up. And if you're still thinking about that, take some breaths, you know. What ideas or resentments or unforgiveness or opinions am I harboring that are preventing me from moving ahead? What's restricting the flow of good through my life? And how am I benefiting from hanging on to it? Because you're getting something out of it, you wouldn't do it, I promise. You can see a practitioner to see what you need to do to let that go. Can we get a little music, Dave? Yeah. Your life is far too precious for it to continue to be poisoned by whatever this thing is. It's okay to take a step forward. It's okay. And if you still have your eyes closed, open them up. Write on that paper. No one's going to read it. It's private matter. I'm going to ask you to form two lines. There's one on this end and one on this end. Come to the bowls. As these old ideas are literally being dissolved. Let go of whatever it is you're still carrying around that's not serving you. A failed relationship, a failed business, mistakes, injustices, you feel wronged, lost opportunities, resentments. We could be here all day. We won't, but we could. Life is a flow, and just when we're not giving, we're restricting that flow. We restrict it by staying stuck in our anger, our fear, and our unforgiveness. We are spiritually constipated, people. Just saying. Just saying. Let it go. Did you put something in there? Reverend Dan, Reverend Stacy, did you? Oh, you're gonna share it. Ooh. It's private, but she's gonna share it. Awesome. You know, hopefully you've let go of some things today. And you have a clearer path.
Okay, so.
I want you to set new goals. I want you to go for it. I know that Reverend Stacy, I know in her class, it's tomorrow, it's a place where we can have clarity and purpose. And I think she's going to share a little bit of that with you right now. So Happy New Year to you all, and God bless you. Thank you.
Good morning again. Yeah, so we're talking about happiness now. We've released that which needs to be released from ourselves, which gave us the appearance of not being whole. We're always whole and complete. It's how we're built. We can't be any other way. But we let stuff in our way, don't we? And so we released it. By the time some of you that see me tomorrow, you may have to do it again. And so we'll do it again tomorrow. And we'll do it, keep doing it. And we're here to hold one another accountable. That's what families are for. Families are for. But nature abhors a vacuum. So now that you've released that, you've got to put something in there. Otherwise you'll go back to the same patterns that Reverend Dan was talking about, right? So why not put happiness in there? Why not put joy in there? You know, I wrote down here, and I scratched it up. This is what I'm releasing today. It's judgment, and it's allowing people to steal my joy. Now, here's the truth about that, because I scratched it out, you'll see that. It's giving people my joy. Nobody can steal my joy. I can give it away. But why do I continually do that? Any of you know what I'm saying? You can't steal my joy. I'm not going to give it to you, no matter what. So I'm going to put this in here. So, there's a quote here, but it doesn't have who it's from. I'm assuming it's from Dr. Holmes, and I'm going to read it to you because it resonated with me. Happiness is our true divine nature. Happiness leads to joy, and joy leads to fulfillment. Our freedom to choose allows us to experience and express happiness or not. Given all that is going on in our personal lives and in the world, happiness can sometimes appear elusive and feel foreign. There are keys we can use to experience happiness, joy, and fulfillment in the midst of all that is and is not. So this weekend, some of you know that I went to go see my family in Los Angeles. So I spent Christmas Eve with my mom's side and Christmas Day with my dad's side. Had a great time. It was interesting because on both sides of the family, we had guests that hadn't been there for quite some time, relatives that hadn't been there for quite some time because breakdown in relationships. And so it was a chance to renew and have a new point A with these people, which was just healing. You know, no matter how mad, if you've been 3 or 4 years, I'm mad at someone, whatever they've done, again, don't let anyone steal your joy. They're doing the best they can at any given time. And half the time, if you notice, they don't even know that they're mad, that you're mad at them. They have no idea. You just take your ball and you go home. And they have no idea. You don't explain because you don't want the conflict. You don't want to talk about it, and you just go. But how does that work for you? What energy, what vibration does that hold in your own heart? Doesn't serve. Well, anyway, so my nephew, he's 6. He's adorable, absolutely adorable, and a handful. Some of you have met him. A handful for sure. But he had written his Christmas list, and he had gotten everything on his Christmas list. Every single thing on his Christmas list. And his dad was getting dressed, and said, I was going to go to the store. And he said, would you take Jaden with you? That's my nephew's name. Would you take him with you? I was like, okay. Sure. So I take Jaden with me, and Jaden wanted to take one of his Christmas toys. Okay, so he asked his daddy. Daddy said, okay. Well, of course, he wanted to take the 4,000-piece Lego with him, right? Which would make sense to go to around the corner, right? Well, no, Jaden, I don't think that that's probably the best thing to do, because we may lose the pieces, and then you can't put it together. And so he has a little meltdown. That's a little meltdown. When I say little meltdown, I'm not exactly telling the whole full story there. But he has a little meltdown. And I'm like, I don't have kids. What am I supposed to do? Take him back. What am I going to do? And so it just occurs to me to just remind him of what a beautiful Christmas he had. That Santa brought him everything on his list. What a blessed little boy he is. He has a family who loves him. And he listened. He heard me. So he closed his eyes for a minute. We went to the store. And he said, Auntie Stacy, can I buy my daddy some gum? I said, gum? I don't know your daddy to chew gum necessarily, Jamie. Well, I want to get him something, and I only have $1. Because I'm really grateful for what he got me for Christmas. And can we get my grandma some too? And I'm like, okay, he gets it. He gets it quicker than I do, to be quite honest. So here's a little formula for you. I want you to say it with me. I'm going to say it first, and I want you to repeat it with me. Presence plus perspective plus gratitude equals happiness, which leads to joy, which leads to fulfillment. Let's do it one more time. Presence plus perspective plus gratitude equals happiness, which leads to a realization of joy, which equals fulfillment. And that's what he did in a short trip to the store. A short trip to the store. There's another quote here I'd like to share with you from 365 Days of Richer Living. Definitely I know that every negative condition of the past is cleared away from my consciousness. I no longer think about it, see it, or believe in it, nor do I believe that it has any effect whatsoever in my experience. Yesterday is not, tomorrow is not, but today, bright with hope and filled with promise, is mine. Today I live. Like I said, that my little Jaden, he got that. I had a great time with not only my mom's side, where I renewed a relationship with my cousin, but also another cousin on my dad's side. My dad is remarried, and my stepmom has a niece. And there had been some strange goings on, and I just didn't want to deal with it. And she hadn't been around. I hadn't been around. And she showed up to dinner. And first I'm like, oh. I don't even remember what went on. Right? Did I do that right?
I get that a lot from her.
And so, you sit in, and you sit down, and you settle in, and it's like, not only am I a minister, let's just keep this real. This is not appropriate. It's not appropriate. It's not okay. So we sit and we talk. she tells me, and her grandmother's there. It's not my grandmother, but it is my grandmother. It's my stepmom's mom. I've known her since I was 27 years old. She tells me how she... Yeah, 28. Thank you, And I sit there, and she's telling me how she's taking care of her grandmother, who has Alzheimer's. She's 92 or 93 years old now. She's had Alzheimer's. I think she's been in a home for maybe 10 years. And all the things that she does to bring her grandmother joy. It's like, how could I be mad at this person for whatever it was that I don't even remember? But she's such a bright light that's doing so much, that is a loving person and a caring person. And so whatever my judgment said about whatever she did that I don't even remember, let it go. It's time. And so I had a great day with her. Went to lunch the next day before I got on the plane with her and my sister, Ashley, who is just adorable. Shouldn't say adorable, she is 20. She is 27, how funny. About to graduate from law school. And one of my very dearest friends. Had a great day. And I get to the airport at 7 o'clock, because my plane leaves at 8:55. And there was a text on my phone. I had left as I'm checking in my bag outside, realized I had left my phone in the car, which is a problem. I don't know how many of you remember phone numbers, but I realized that I don't remember phone numbers like I used to. So how can I call my dad and my stepmom to bring my phone back, because I don't know anyone's phone number. So I said a quick little prayer. I called Reverend Cheryl, she didn't pick up. I had a few little grumblings, she picked up. Finally, she called my stepmom, they came back. And then I see on my phone at 6:56, there was a text saying, your flight is delayed. Now remember my nephew? I talked about the little meltdown he had. His was nothing compared to my meltdown. Nothing. Because I was having such a wonderful time. And I felt like I cut it short. And I felt like I robbed myself, and I felt like they stole my joy. There was a wonderful man outside checking in the bags and let me use his phone all of that time. I got in, I was safe, I was secure, it was all good. People were lovely. And I still let that just grumble. Then I found out that the flight wasn't leaving. It wasn't taking off until 11:30. Reverend Cheryl picked me up from the airport at 2 a.m. And I was still grumbling. My story, I get to tell my story. Presence plus perspective plus gratitude equals happiness, which leads to joy, which leads to fulfillment. That was my choice to feel that way. I don't know what went on at that airport. There could have been an attack, a terrorist attack. There could have been all sorts of things that would support me feeling better about the story that I got home at 2 a.m. And so it took me a while. Actually, it took me writing this talk to get to that place. Teal said this, all spiritual practice is the art of shifting perspectives. Men are disturbed not by the things that happen, but by their opinion of the things that happen. Probably women too, huh?
A few of you.
We are disturbed as people by the things that happen. Not by the things that happen, but by our perspective, but by our opinion of the things that happen. We don't know anybody else's stories. We don't walk in anyone else's shoes. Give them the benefit of the doubt. and know that the good is always for you. Presence plus perspective plus gratitude equals happiness, which leads to joy, which leads to fulfillment. So my role here on this plane is to express that joy. That is my birthright. To live and express that joy and model it to all that come into my presence. I'm grateful for the awareness of this truth. That's my work today. It's my work every day that I'm here on this plane. And thank you, Spirit, for the realization of this truth. Another year to be the very best me yet. Happy New Year to all of you. You all mean the world to each of us. We love you.
So, I've been in this practice for a bit, and I know the most important thing to getting what we want, our heart's desire, is to let go. It is part of our science mind treatments, and the song's all about that. It's one of my favorite songwriters, Francesca Battistelli. I just like saying her name. Francesca Battistelli. Wise young soul. Let go with me.
Happy almost New Year. So Today, I got this journal, and this is basically kind of a gratitude journal or something to write my thoughts down in, because I have a lot of journals, but I think it'd be really helpful to have this, so I can write down all my thoughts and feelings and different ways to solve them. And to celebrate the New Year's, I made a New Year's hat for my cat Celine, which she'll hopefully wear, and if she won't, I will make her wear it. And there's this mug that says fa la 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 llama, and so I get to color it, and then that's my mug. So yeah.
Happy New Year's,
Yeah,
everyone.
Happy New Year.
Reverend Stacy said, I don't know why we just don't have her speak on Sunday. Really. I would like to ask our Minister of Prayer team to please come forward with our ministers and any visiting ministers, visiting practitioners. Thank you. Happy New Year, Happy New Year.
Wonderful. Well, let's stand and connect. Real quick, Taya, how is your horse? Is she okay? Okay, we just left her. All right, so let's take a deep collective breath. And with a grateful heart, I just celebrate that idea. That idea that it is all God, it is all good, it is all love, it is all life. And I celebrate that idea that I am one with God. I am one with that good, that love, that life. And what's true for me is true for each and every person hearing my voice. That each person is expressing God's love and life and goodness. And so as I stand in these truths, I simply declare that 2018 was a year of learning and living and growing and revealing more of who I really am. And right here and right now, I let go of everything that no longer serves my living and my learning and my growing. And so at this very moment, I welcome 2019, a new year, a year filled with infinite possibility, a new year filled with financial freedom, spiritual awakening, vibrant health, amazing experiences, and loving and loving and loving and loving human beings around me. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for all of this. And I give thanks for being here today in this place that teaches and lifts each person up. And so now I simply take each and every word spoken here today, I release it into that perfect law, that power that is greater than I am. And I know that as I have spoken, it is already done. I let go, I let God. And together we say, and so it is.
Singing these song lyrics with me. Yes,
There is peace on earth, and now it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as our power, God was already.
is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
I know it in my mind.
I know it in my mind.
I feel it in my body.
I feel